So they invited me to church, and I showed up, and I went through chants, prayers, and then this mass started. And I had never seen a mass. Um, I remember asking my mother about, well, what about the Catholic Church? And she said, well, that's for Mexicans. That's what they do. And I thought, well, I'm not Mexican. So I didn't give it any thought, but here was this mass. And I realized that even though I didn't understand what was going on, I understood the language because I had been writing poetry for years and years, and I thought, I know this. This is poetry. It's scripted, it's written out, it's well-considered language, and everything they're talking about means more than the words themselves. That's just the starting place. This is a poem. Okay, I get this. I get this language. And everything that sometimes people say about the Mass that is formal, I liked that. It was written out. It was formal. It wasn't just getting together and sharing the Spirit. You know, that's wonderful. But this was formal. It was scripted. It meant something. It was very old. When I went to graduate school, I never considered studying modern literature, concentrating in that. I concentrated in Renaissance literature. So the whole idea of a tradition being extended century after century made absolute sense. In fact, everything that I saw made absolute sense. You know, I looked at the monks, and I looked at the way they lived, and how the day was broken up into prayers, and I thought, well, sure, this is not some artificial existence. This is a real world. And the days went by. I was only there for about 3, but it became more the real world, and the world back there with the cities. That was the one that I began to question, the one that was filled with these messages about what we need to make us happy. Everything I saw at the monastery was, I think, what I was looking for. All these years, I didn't know it then, and I didn't even know it when I left. But I remember coming back and my wife asking me about what the trip was like and so forth and other, and we chatted and so forth and other. And then she said, well, are you going to Mass again? And I said, well, yeah. But inside I was thinking, are you kidding? Of course I am.